who stands out as, okay, whether it's a transfer portal guy, I'm going to think Henry Parrish, 3 touchdowns, 108 yards, or an incoming freshman that we got to see.
His name just escaped me. Defensive end, West Virginia. Akheen Mesidor. Sorry, there we go. Was probably the best player on the field on Saturday. So, he's comes in and he starts at defensive end. And he's just doing everything. He's wreaking havoc. He's getting upfield. He's making plays. Henry Parrish obviously got the start at running back and the majority of the carries. Thad Franklin finally growing up as a running back, instead of running all high and everything, he's, get some lean running behind his pads. And that's a big boy. I mean, I don't know what he's listed at on the roster, but he's 6'1", 245. He's darn near A.J. Dillon size, that's a big dude coming through that line. And that's a lot to deal with. So, he was a guy who stood out as improved. Keyshawn Smith, in terms of the return game, did not have a catch on the day. Did Keyshawn Smith, was he targeted? I don't think he was targeted even from the stat sheet. But, but he was really, really explosive in the return game. So those were the guys who really, started or improved. Caleb Johnson, when he came in at linebacker, that was his athleticism just pops off the field, even just watching it, from the stadium in the press box live. And it's especially more because Flag and Steed really, but the linebackers who played in front of him are not that fast, fleet of foot. They're not that speedy. So when 40 came in and he it pops even more. And, you need a variety of defenders. So, and we played a lot of guys, so we can see what their, value is going to be. So, those guys, Daryl Porter Jr. in the secondary didn't really have a great impact on the stat sheet. But every time I looked up, 5 was, and I was like, who is 5 on defense now? Because I'm thinking Amari Carter, because he was here for 17 years and everything. But I'm like, no, that's not Amari Carter. But I'm like, 5 is there assisting with the tackler. 5 is over there, flowing to the ball, or 5 is over there, sliding through, a pass window and just deterring the quarterback from throwing it there. And every time I said, let me make sure. And that's Daryl Porter Jr., also from West Virginia. So, he was another guy who was new to the roster that, seemed to have a positive impact, on the game and everything. And, shout out to Leonard Taylor, starting defensive tackle, 5-star recruit and everything. So he's, just doing the thing, just like James Williams. When you get those 5 stars, you're going to play those 5 stars, and those 5 stars are worthy of being played. So, I think that those were the guys really who stood out to me as the newbies. Inez Cooper, also on offensive line, has been getting rave reviews. He's one of the last guys to commit in this class from Alabama's massive mountain of a dude, like 6'6", 350. But is the clear number 2 right tackle, and everybody around the program was like, this is the steal of all steals in recruiting. This dude is massive and mean, and he's going to be really, really good to the point where he's already on the 2 deep, and he's going to fight for playing time. So, yeah, Rob Duke's good to be back. Caleb Johnson maybe looking lost a little bit. Yeah, he's learning a new scheme and everything, but to Chris Mitchell's point, you can be a little lost when you can run like that. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't understand everything, but I can go. If I see the ball, I can just go, pick him up, put him down, things like that. So, yeah, but the added athleticism at a position, I've been harping about athleticism at linebacker for I don't know how long, but seeing that pop on the field, you really love to see that. And, you have a lot more guys to move in there, a lot of more, tools in the toolbox, toys in the toy box, whatever you want to call it. But, a variety of players that you can put in there to do a variety of different things. That just opens up the multiplicity of scheme that you can employ both on offense and on defense.
So with Parish getting the 14 carries and Franklin the 9, do you think that's indicative as the team steps up a level in competition this week and then a massive level of competition the next week of what we're going to see going forward?
It's going to rebalance because Jalen Knighton had a soft tissue injury. He warmed up in full pads, but he didn't play. So when Jalen Knighton comes in, he's a guy who's going to be at the top of that rotation, with Parish splitting some. So those are probably going to come from Franklin's carries. So, and I mean, it's going to be touches for Knighton because, you can throw him the ball. You saw it last year. You scheme him up one-on-one. Well, I mean, both years he's been here. You scheme him up. That's one of the fastest guys on the team. So, he makes a guy miss and he's still running. Ask North Carolina. They tried to solo up a defensive back on him and he hit him with a little shake, put that foot in the ground, and then he's, up the sideline, outrunning angles. So it's going to be, a group by committee, but I think the running backs, we can definitely go to the hot hand. So Knighton's going to come back. Obviously, you saw Parish, and he started or played at the top, near the top of the rotation at Ole Miss for a couple of years. Thad Franklin, you need short yardage. Bring in that massive dude. Unfortunately, I believe Trevante Citizen's out for the year from all of the chatter. I mean, Mark Cristobal is taking full advantage of Miami being a private school. So he's like, cool. I'm not going to release a depth chart except for in the press box on game day. We're not going to release or talk about suspensions because we don't have to. We're not going to talk about injuries because we don't have to. Because there's no Freedom of Information Act because it's a private institution. We don't have to, so we won't. Kind of a thing. So it's everybody really it's a different kind of way to find some of those things out. But from what he was talking about with Don Chaney being out for 4 to 6 weeks, and he's like, oh yeah, but Trevante Citizen was much more severe of an injury. Yeah, I'm probably not going to see him. But then you do get Lucius Stanley, who played at UAB, to transfer over, and then you have 46. I keep forgetting that kid's name, but he was an FCS player. I found out when I looked on the roster. I'm going to have to look it up to give this guy's name. Miami Hurricanes football roster. Click, 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 click. It's not him. Hold on.
Devin Perry?
Yes, Devin Perry. There we go. Perry. Yeah, but he played at the FCS level. So I thought when he didn't, showed pretty well at the spring game, I thought he was like a walk-on. There was a kid who lived on my floor freshman or sophomore year, 2000 or 2001. And he was like, yeah, I'm going to go try out for the baseball team. We'll see what happens, blah, blah, blah. Come to find out that he was just really, really good, but he was homeschooled or something. So he ends up going and he ended up starting in right field for a team that went to the College World Series. His name was Brian Barton, I believe it was. And he ends up getting drafted and everything. We're like, yeah, this kid was just okay, whatever, I'm 6'2", kind of, twist, blow out hair, whatever. And, I'm just going to go try for baseball and started, hit third or fourth and gets drafted. And I thought that Devin Perry was like that, where he was just some dude off the street. I got off of the Metro Rail stop and I was walking up Santa Mauro Drive and I looked over and I was like, there's the Hecht Athletic Center. Let me go try. That's not what it was. This is a dude who was maybe not recruited coming out of high school, but played at the FCS level. So that kind of and I mean, I'm not saying that I want him to start. I'm not saying that he needs to get, fourth quarter carries in a 2-point game against Alabama in a championship game. But that raises the level in the running back room, even without Donald Chaney Jr. and without Trevante Citizen. By having a guy who played at the FCS level and having a guy who played at UAB, both of those being walk-ons here behind the 3 healthy scholarship backs that we have. So I think it's really going to be Knighton and Parish, 1A, 1B, sprinkle in some Franklin, and then hopefully we get the passing game going. And if we win, and we're blowing teams out, then you can have Stanley and Perry coming in off the bench who are better than your average walk-on, trust and believe.